bam, guess what? It's Sunday. It's just gone an hour and a few minutes after 10 o'clock. And that could only mean one thing. It's time for What a Week's News That Was on the 1st of December 2024. Still Christmas. I don't really care. But yeah, we look at the news from around the world, we cover serious subjects, and then we have a bit of a laugh at the end. Feel free to join in the chat, like, share, subscribe. Listening on podcasts, feel free to comment in the comments section as and when you're able to do so. And yeah, we look at the news that has been occurring from around the globe. I proved that by actually having a globe that we are looking around of, and that be it. But it's not the real globe. I mean, it's an image of the globe, it's not the real thing. Anyway, serious news time. Welcome to the News at 11. Monday the 25th of November, 1 month before Christmas. Yay. I don't care. Over 100 flood warnings on day 3 of Storm. I put Boris, it wasn't Boris, it was Bert. Boris, Bert. Remember Storm Bert? Seems like such a long time ago. Let's go, she was directly involved in it, which I guess it wasn't. A US judge agrees to drop the charges on Trump over the January 6th riots. Because he's president now, he can let himself off anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? How does that work? Tourist boat sinks in the Red Sea. Many missing, including 2 Brits. And Rachel Reeves says no more tax hikes for businesses after the £35 billion budget, where she screwed over all businesses around the country. I know a lot of businesses who are going to lay people off and reduce people's hours, because it's just not getting cost effective to actually have people working anymore for you. If your income doesn't get any bigger, and your income doesn't get any bigger, unless of course you put your prices up, but then your income gets smaller because people don't want to pay the prices. Rachel Reeves got no fucking idea. But anyway, Tuesday the 26th of November. Could there be peace in Lebanon? A ceasefire has been called by Biden from 4 a.m. tomorrow. The IDF and Hezbollah agree to the tentative ceasefire. We'll see how that goes. Vauxhall to close the Luton plant, but they're going to invest considerable amounts of money in the Halewood plant. It's all to do with the drop in demand of electric cars. Who saw that coming? Man arrested in North Wales. He was on the FBI most wanted terrorist list. 21 years ago, he allegedly set off 2 bombs in San Francisco. November the 27th, which was a Wednesday. People return home at the start of the ceasefire. Of course, many people's homes in Lebanon have been levelled by, well, either side really. Numerous bomb threats against members of Trump's cabinet, as well as swatting incidents where people basically tell the police that there is an armed person in a house. They used to do it with YouTubers, and the police would come barging into the house with the SWAT teams and often kill the person in the house who's just sat there playing games or having a cup of tea or whatever. It's America, that's what they do. Miracle after 5 found in a cabin over 24 hours after the boat sank underwater. Sadly, none of the British, well, the 2 British people were among those found. Thursday the 28th, Daniel Khalif. He was the guy who escaped from prison by strapping himself under a lorry, and many women said he could stay at their house because he was handsome and fit. Anyway, he's been found guilty of spying and sending military secrets to Iran, and he was only caught with his own stupidity of asking the British Army if they wanted him to be double agent. Not the brightest. Greg Wallace under investigation over sexual harassment and inappropriate behaviour over the last 17 years. Another scandal for the BBC. Labour Transport Minister Louise Hay has admitted that she pleaded guilty to lying to police after a mugging incident where she claimed that a mobile phone was stolen. It was a Works mobile phone. The Works mobile phone was then replaced. She then found the mobile phone in a drawer in a house, turned it on to check her messages, which alerted the phone company, because this phone had been reported stolen. they pinpointed where it was, and yeah, she said it was a genuine mistake. Anyway, she's under suspicion. She was the Transport Secretary on Thursday. Friday the 29th of November, after 5 hours of debate, the House of Commons vote for assisted suicide. Assisted dying. 330 to 275. Is anyone chatting today? I know it's late, probably not. It is later than usual, to be fair. Now, my opinion on this, I'm lucky in the fact that I've never known anyone who has passed away after a long, painful illness. So in some ways, I'm not really experienced that via someone else. But I do feel that it's a thin end of a wedge, and it's a very big wedge. And I think if it comes in and it's, you've got less than 6 months to live, 2 doctors, a High Court judge, and then the person has to administer it themselves, which is suicide, then yeah, I kind of see where that's going. The problem is, these things never stay the same. They always get tweaked. They always get improved. And my mother, I use this as an example in the bit I've written for the paper this week, my mother, who's 89, said, it's been said for the last 3 or 4 years that she wishes she was dead and she'd kill herself if she could. I don't think she means it, but if this was 20, 30 years down the line, would someone say, right, okay, then there you go, help yourself? That's what I'm worried about. It's not the small thing of people ending their lives because of the intense pain and suffering shortly before they were going to die anyway. It's the fact that it could be expanded out. And I even use the analogy, although I do say in the paper that I go to extremes. Obviously it's not published yet, it won't be out until Wednesday. Assuming they publish it, they may not. But it may be like Logan's Run in 200 years. And in Logan's Run, which was a film and a TV show in the 1970s, early 80s, basically when you reach the age of 30, to help with overpopulation, you were basically executed in a ceremony. So no one was older than the age of 30, which seems bizarre and like futuristic, but I think this could be a very, very thin edge of a wedge. I'm not saying they're going to go to that extreme, and obviously I won't be around in 30 years time, never mind 50 years time, to see what's going on, but I do feel for the people in the future. And will people with mental health issues, will people with severe disabilities, will people who have accidents where they are life-changing be given the option of ending their own lives? It just seems like a very slippery slope to me, and I'm not down with it at all. I think it is. I think we should keep the way we are. I know it's not perfect, but I think it's open to be manipulated in the future. And it might not be well and good now, but like I say, I am terrified for the future and my grandkids and my great-grandkids, who I'll never meet, what life they would have and how it would end for them under something possibly trivial. I don't know, it just seems a very bizarre thing. Anyway, moving on to the Southern Ireland Irish general election. It took place on Friday, because they're different in Ireland, they do things on a Friday, not a Thursday. The exit poll was interesting, saying it was going to be very, very close indeed, the results, which could mean that Sinn Féin, who want to unite Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, and currently are in control of Northern Ireland, could take control of Southern Ireland, and therefore just agree to join the two together, and that's that. Although I think that would cause more problems what it solves. Although it would solve other problems. Very complicated. The questions had been raised about how much did Keir Starmer know about Louise Hay, MP, her fraud conviction, although she was let off with a discharge, but it still is a criminal record. And why did he appoint her as a member of the shadow cabinet before becoming government, and then the transport secretary when he came in government? There's also rumours that she didn't tell the electorate when she was elected an MP of this conviction stroke discharge for lying about a theft of a mobile phone. All seems very, very, very complicated. Meanwhile, in Georgia, the country, there's riots and disturbance following the government change of stance over joining the EU. The government are saying now they don't want to join the EU straight away. They're going to put that on the back burner until 2028. Possibly hoping that people would forget about it and then they won't have to worry about it. But it doesn't work like that, does it? Politics. Saturday the 30th, rebels seize control of Aleppo in Syria, which is a surprise. Israeli extremists, and they are working their way down towards the capital, which I think is Damascus. More pro-EU protesters in Georgia, and water cannons are used against them. And the actual early results show tight percentages with Sinn Féin in Ireland and the other parties. Sunday the 1st, that'd be today, that'd be. Yeah, still, just. Greg Wallace hits back with a very ill-timed and ill-judged video, accusing middle-class women of a certain age of making up stories about him, none of them of which are true. It always baffles me why people who are in trouble decide to do interviews or do videos rather than just keeping quiet. I mean, you look at Princess Diana, who was the first one who did this, Prince Andrew, yeah, and then Philip Schofield, and now Weg Grollis. Actually, sounds better, doesn't it? Weg Grollis doing it as well. It just seems like, just put your head on a plane, just give it to people. It just seems very bizarre. It turns out now, though, that one thing he was accused of doing was walking around naked with a sock over his bits. We've all done that. Well, maybe not the sock bit, but certainly, and saying things quite rude to people, being sexually explicit about things, rather than like the P. Diddy stuff and things like that. So I'm not saying it's inexcusable, but I think there's a mountain being made out of possibly a molehill. And you could be wrong. Could come out there's a lot worse that he's allegedly done, and we'll see how that goes in the future. Not a big fan of him, to be fair, although he did do one of my favourite lines on TV ever, although it wasn't him. It was at the Heinz factory, which is over there, where I think they make 1 million tins of baked beans a day or something stupid like that, Heinz baked beans. And there's a machine that when the beans come in, they come in a huge bag, like when you get rubble or stones delivered to your house. Well, the beans come in one of those, and then it's put into a hop, and then it's shot through the air, and there's lasers that look for any beans that have got black marks on them, so bad beans, and they're fired out with a jet of air in a fraction of a second, and those end up going into like pet food feed and things like that, so they're not wasted. But that means when you get your Heinz baked beans, there's no rotten ones in there. And Greg said, have they always used technology like this? And the woman said, no. She said, back in the day, they would come back on a conveyor belt, and there'd be rows and rows of women with spoons, and they would flick the beans, the bad beans, off. Yeah. And there's more disturbances in Tbilisi as we speak. Maybe not now, because it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning there now, so maybe they've all got on. And that was the news of the week, which brings us rather smartly to the news that makes you go, ugh, and all that kind of thing. The reason I'm late tonight, by the way, hiya Toff, I wasn't ignoring you, I was in a very deep bit of conversation then. It's because I decided to sort my studio out and ended up wrecking it, so I've had to rebuild the bloody thing pretty much from scratch. So I've done well to get it done within an hour and a half. So yeah, we're here and we're ready to rock and roll. So this is the news that makes you go, ugh, oh my god, nah, really? You think I'm that stupid? That kind of thing. Weird news. And also some current news as well that's been going on. That's Wigan Watch, not onto Wigan Watch, we're on to the news. That's a picture of the shop. That's a picture of a speed camera. Although I will show you this picture. Oh no, I won't show you the speed camera because it's a massive picture. I'll leave that. I thought I'd shrunk this down, but I haven't. Oh well. By the time you realise these are stairs, you'll be in the emergency room, basically, because yeah, where do the stairs start and where does the floor end? I mean, that is, whoever come up with that, absolutely terrifying. Yeah, no, don't go down them stairs. If you've got an opportunity not to go down them stairs, take it. Take it now. A nutritionalist study says pizza is healthier for breakfast than most cereals. You know, most cereals that are just like basically sugar. I don't think it's saying pizzas are better for you for breakfast. It's not recommending you crack out, open a Goodfellas in the morning. I think what it means is they are less bad for you, but they are still bad for you. The world is full of these, so now someone's come up with a genius idea of making parking spaces for them. That's correct. These are snowflake car parking spaces. So these are for people who are offended by everything. But Greg Wallace could probably name a few people who he'd put in them spaces. Everyone welcome in Manchester except buses. You have to go left if you're a bus, not straight on. Seems fair. Aussies experienced longest household recession since the 1970s. Everyone's moaning about the economy over here and in Europe and everywhere else. Australia couldn't be further away, and it's still rubbish. So yeah, and then we voted out the government who actually probably could have sorted it out and got one in that's just making it even worse. Anyway, that's democracy for you, isn't it? People who complain that cream eggs don't taste as good as used to are talking rubbish. I found a half-eaten one from 1987 under the dog's blanket in the car, and it made me vomit for 3 days. So proof that the food is getting healthier, I think. My dad told me his password is Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, Pluto, Huey, Louie, Dewey and Dublin, because he was told his password had to contain 8 characters and at least 1 capital. Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, Pluto, Huey, Dewey and Dublin. Yeah, no. I thought that was quite clever, to be fair. Just takes you half an hour to get in. We talked about low bridges last week or the week before. Oh well, yeah. Here's a double-decker bus that's got itself well and truly wedged under a low bridge in Bolton. Well done. You've got to love the B network. It's so bloody brilliant. This is breaking news at the time. International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor asked judges to issue an arrest warrant for Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, the head of Myanmar's military regime, for crimes committed against the country's, oh God, I forgot how to say that now, Muslim minority. So yeah, basically, everyone's getting away with everything these days, and now the Court of Human Rights has decided that, no, you can't keep doing this. We're in 2022, we're not in 1873, and they're starting bringing people in for arrest, but they won't get arrested, but that's what they're trying to do. Hi John Higginbotham, hope you're good, in good old Stocky. In 2016, a train station in a remote Japanese village was scheduled to close permanently. However, when they noticed a single student using it to commute to school, they decided to keep it open until she graduated. Which I think is really sweet. They wouldn't do that over here. They'd be like, no, get a bus. Go on, get a bus. What are you doing? Just get a bus. Because that's what we're like over here. And then it'd be like, what do you want to go to school for anyway? By the time you're ready to work, you'll be trapped at home. You won't be able to drive your car anyway. You won't be able to go out. You won't be able to go on the internet. You won't be able to do anything. Just sit in your house and rot. Justice in Australia. A police officer found guilty of manslaughter of a 95-year-old woman. If you've been watching this show in its various guises for the last couple of years, you'll be aware that we covered a story in Australia where a 95-year-old woman with dementia was tasered and had a heart attack after the taser because she was holding a knife threateningly, and the police officer decided to taser her rather than just let her get tired and put the knife down, or just take the knife off her. She's a 95-year-old woman. He tasered her and she passed away very shortly afterwards. Anyway, he's been found guilty now of manslaughter, and rightly so. Imperial Stormtrooper, 5'11", a metric Stormtrooper, 180 centimetres. God, I can only dream of being 5'11". More breaking news. Australia passed a law to ban social media for children aged under 16 after days of heated debate, setting a standard for other countries to follow in a global push to curb the power of big tech. Kind of makes sense, but note the fact it was days of heated debate. In the UK, we had 5 hours of debate over whether people should be allowed to kill themselves or not. I mean, we've got our priorities wrong in a massive way over here. It's just ridiculous. Lydia Thorpe, an independent senator, has said, "I've got the day off today. I've been suspended. I've been censored." Lydia Thorpe has accused colleagues of censoring her and allowing racism in the Senate after being suspended over a confrontation with Pauline Hanson. The Indigenous senator addressed a crowd of protesters in front of Parliament House in Canberra following her extraordinary ban from the final sitting day of the year. Now, I'm not sure if that's the same woman who insulted the King when he was in the Parliament as well, saying, "Not my king, not my king." So a very outspoken woman. This obviously was for Thanksgiving on Thursday for America. Judge Dredd saying, "Have a lawful Thanksgiving, citizens." Indeed. Oh, we all do this, but even fruit flies do it. Male fruit flies will seek out alcohol when sexually rejected. We've all been there. Well, we haven't actually. I have no interest in that kind of thing. Rod Stewart. He's put his oar in over the Greg Wallace thing. So Greg Wallace gets fired from MasterChef. He hasn't been fired, he's been stood down whilst an inquiry goes on. But anyway, good riddance, Wallace. You humiliated my wife when she was on the show, but you had that bit cut out, didn't you? You're a tubby, bald-headed, ill-mannered bully. Karma got you. Sir Rod Stewart. And all he fancy writing as well. You gotta love a man who loves filling in potholes, haven't you? Do you think I'm sarky? If you do, let me know. The Dull Men's Club. I planned this very carefully so that my trip meter would reach 789 at the same time. Full mileage got to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, he's basically got his car doing the number thing, which we all try and do every now and then, but got it spot on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And he even mentioned in the more open thing that he was happy he got 11 degrees as well. It was 12 degrees, but it went down to 11. He was kind of hoping it was going to be 10 degrees, but it didn't go down that far. So yeah. Remember, I used to buy clothes off Wish App. In fact, I've had one of their t-shirts on today as an undergarment because it's complete see-through. You can't wear it as an outside shirt. But it's alright as an undergarment because it's very tight as well, because obviously the sizes over there are different from the sizes over here. Well, it's changed now. It's now called Temu, and someone's taking the mick out of that. AirPods from Temu came today, and they're the size of 3 hairdryers. Listed building featuring famous Banksy is going up for sale at £700,000, which to me seems remarkably cheap. But then again, you'd think a Banksy is worth more. Kings of Leon, what's their most famous song? Correct. Sex is on fire. Oh, my sex is on fire. Although I always say Kex or CX, but you get the joke. It's very funny. After Tupac was cremated, members of his hip-hop group, The Outlaws, with a Z, mixed his ashes with marijuana and smoked them as per his request. I mean, why you'd want to smoke the ashes of someone, I don't know, but mind you, why you want to smoke marijuana, I don't know either, unless obviously it's for health reasons. Bob Bryant, the drummer of the band My Chemical Romance, has been found dead, only aged 44. He was found inside his Tennessee home on Tuesday, according to US authorities. I saw the My Chemical Romance live in 2007 at Download. They were the the Friday main act, and all the people in the crowd were mourning because they are not, like a typical download band. They were a pop band, so everyone said they're going to get bottled. I did a video of it, of them getting bottled, which has had many thousands of views on YouTube. Not on this channel, on my previous channel. And just type in My Chemical Romance Get Bottled 2007 download, you see what I mean. But they handled it perfectly. They absolutely, literally took the piss. They threw a few back, but then one of the guys lined them up on the piano. I think the drummer, he got involved as well, and the singer kind of lined them up around him on stage, and by the end of it everyone was bouncing along to the tunes. They took it really, really well. Some other artists would have just gone yo and walked off, but not My Chemical Romance. Really, really good sports, considering. Sadly, my daughter, who was 15 at the time, she got clobbered by a bottle, but I didn't tell her what was in it. I just said it was a bottle. We smelt anyway, because it was a festival. Everyone smells a piss, so it didn't really matter too much. Entrepreneur eats the $9.5 million banana, which he's bought. It tastes much better than other bananas, indeed quite good. A cryptocurrency entrepreneur who bought a piece of conceptual art consisting of a simple banana duct taped to a wall for $9.5 million ate the fruit in Hong Kong yesterday. Chinese-born Justin's son peeled off the duct tape and enjoyed the banana artwork titled Comedian by Italian artist Marzio Catalan. Now, I'm sorry, but hasn't loads of people eaten the banana? I mean, how many bananas? I mean, this Catalan guy's on a good screw, isn't he? Just buy, a 5-pack of bananas for a couple of quid, and then just duct tape it to a wall and sell it for millions to a fucking idiot in Hong Kong. Yeah. Proper artist, Banksy. There you go. Singing on the bus shelter, just singing on, well, dancing really. Funny picture time. On this day, 1974, John Lennon made one of his final concert appearances when he joined Elton John on stage at Madison Square Gardens in New York City. And there's the picture there of Curly Watts and the manager of Fresh Goals at the time, off Coronation Street from the 1990s. But they do look very much like Elton John and John Lennon. It's mad. Toyota issues a recall for 3 Corolla models. Toyota has issued a recall for 3 Corolla models over fears a manufacturing defect. Reg Holdsworth, thank you, John Higginbotham. Manufacturing defect that may lead to loss of steering control. More than 1,200 vehicles, including the Corolla Cross Hybrid and Sedan Hybrid from 23 to 24, are potentially impacted. A list of vehicle identification numbers is available in the Transport of Department website in Australia. I dare say they're also available in other countries as well if you have the misfortune of driving a hybrid. More silly photos. On this day, 1971, John Lennon and Yoko Ono released Happy Xmas, War is Over. And there's a picture there of sorry. Daniel Radcliffe with his Harry Potter glasses on. And another picture of, I don't watch films. Come on, not Reg Holdsworth, what's he called? Jackie Chan, with some weird spectacles on. And basically, so they put up pictures of a Harry Potter and Jackie Chan with sunglasses on, saying they are John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono? World War III bunker plans drawn up by Germany as NATO says brace for wartime scenario. German officials are drawing up plans to increase the number of bunkers available to keep people safe in the event of major nuclear fallout, with the general public encouraged to build their own shelters at home. I don't think building an Anderson shelter out of a couple of pieces of garage roof in your garden, covering it with like a foot of earth, is going to save you from nuclear fallout. Nice try though. Boffins plan to eavesdrop on alien chat as they send messages between planets. A scientist, madman, hopes to intercept signals from an alien civilization going about its business, doing its thing, by looking for planet-to-planet narrowband radio waves. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these people are delusional. Beyond delusional. But it gets worse, don't worry. More alien stuff, for example. Spider webs, quotation, discovered on Mars could well be connected to aliens, say NASA. A new discovery found strange structures resembling spider webs across a non-explored area of Mars, and NASA think it could link to alien life on the red planet. It couldn't, it's just natural rock formation or crystal formation. I mean, I walked on a car park a couple of days ago that was frozen, and there was ice in the formation I'd never seen before. It was really long, thin strands all over the place. It was a beautiful thing to look at, and but I don't think it was alien spiders, put it that way. Hi Alan, welcome back. I've not seen you online for a while. Hope you're good, hope all is well. Nice to see you back up and running. Travel chaos as the Elizabeth line, the new line, is down and severe delays hit major London tubes. Severe delays have hit the Elizabeth line this morning when its services are down between Paddington and Abbey Wood, causing a knock-on effect to the rest of the network. Basically, I'm not saying this is cyber warfare, but this is what Russia would probably do in order to get back at us rather than drop nuclear bombs on us. The main reason for that is basically you don't want to drop nuclear bombs because you get nuclear bombs back. But cyber warfare, you can cut off power stations, you can shut down banking, and you disrupt travel services. That's going to cause as much hassle and discomfort and disquiet than anything else you can do that isn't nuclear warfare. So yeah, that's the future of warfare, which I've said many times and I will say again. Greg Wallace. Accused of walking nude into BBC studios with a sock on his privates. He was doing Naked Attraction, so I don't know what the fuss is about. BBC's Greg Wallace breaks silence on misconduct claims with a statement to fans. This was an earlier statement thanking fans for their support. Yeah, until we get all the facts, it's difficult to support him, but you can't find people guilty until they are found guilty. Innocent until proven innocent. People can say anything about anyone, doesn't make it true. Manchester Airport orb, definitely UFO, as experts say, aliens watch air bases. And then other people are saying it's China, because we've had drones watching various air bases in East Anglia area. Real Madrid coach crashes into a lorry on the motorway after a Liverpool defeat. Thankfully no serious injuries, particularly to the footballers. But they lost a game of football. There's no need to be quite that aggressive on the way home. Aliens have a non-interference policy and want to avoid humans, claims expert. Well, that's a good excuse of saying, well, aliens do exist, they just don't want us to know about it. Just to cover their own tracks, because aliens don't exist. Just shut the up. Sorry, I'm getting angry about aliens. One step closer to the biggest building ever as the line gets new designers. The building was originally designed to be 500 metres high, that's nearly as tall as one World Trade Centre, 200 metres wide, which is over 2 football pitches wide, and over 100 miles long. It's now being severely downsized because of the cost and also the fact that they may have realised, having read Judge Dredd, that if you have a metropolis like that, it ends up just being full of prostitutes and drug barons and that stuff like that. Not a week goes by without another scandal linked to the BBC. You're right, I've written in the paper this week, I don't think it'll get published, but I give it a go anyway, that our 2 biggest scandal makers have turned up trumps again this last week. Labour Party with their Secretary of State for Transport, and also Greg Wallace. Crypto millionaire buys £4.9 million piece of art, banana taped to the wall and then eats it. I mean, some people just shouldn't be allowed out of the house, should they really? I mean, seriously. Will he sell his poo for like £15 million? Is that how it works? Mal blasting out baby shark to keep homeless people out has been branded cruel. The Complex de Gens in Montreal, Quebec, began playing Baby Shark at varying speeds to act as a deterrent for loitering, but the method has been branded cruel and unusual. It's definitely unusual. Baby Shark. It's not, that's Baby Bell, isn't it? Baby Shark. I don't know how it goes. New World's oldest man is a Brazilian pig farmer, 112, who's worked since the age of 4. And I've written about the assisted suicide bill that's going through the House of Parliament and House of Lords over the next few months, years, that in 200 years' time, the oldest person in Britain could be 40, if it accelerates the way it probably will do, as people decide to tweak it, which is why I'm against it. Just days after the previous Guinness World Record holder for the oldest man alive passed away, a new one has been crowned in his wake, and he reveals why he thinks he's lived to 112. Eating pig. I mean, if I live to 112, I'll say it's because I haven't drunk milk or consumed vast amounts of caffeine. That's about the only things I haven't done. Although I have consumed vast amounts of Guinness. I don't think that really works, because it's supposed to put airs on your chest, and well, it's not worked for me. So, yeah. UK-wide manhunt for serial rapist who is actively evading police and public. Well, excuse me, if you're a serial rapist, you're hardly going to be walking round to the police station and waving at them through the window. I mean, actively evading police. Of course they're active. If you're wanted by the police, you're going to actively evade them. I mean, what kind of headline is that? Ridiculous. Anyway, hopefully they get him. Cursed painting haunts new owners as Shadow Child plays games with them. The cursed painting had been sold on by 3 previous owners. However, it's now part of the team in its current home, despite the strange experiences that come with it. Which is basically not at all, they're just making it up. Aliens might not be disemboweling cows after all, as new clues come to light. New information comes to light as ranchers investigate who is behind the mysterious murder of their cows, with several theories thrown around. And yeah, funnily enough, they don't think it's aliens anymore now. It probably isn't, because they don't exist. Greg Wallace says complaints coming from middle-class women of a certain age. What a prick. This is breaking news stories, being constantly updated. As I said earlier on, the one thing you do when you're being accused of something that you may or may not be guilty of is stay quiet until you found either guilty or not guilty of said thing. Coming out with public statements, interviews and stuff like that just makes it 100 billion times worse and makes you look a bigger prat than what you are in the first place. So yeah, keep your gob shut, get your head down and wait for the truth to come out. Obviously you've got something to hide, then maybe different. In 200 years, oldest person will be 40. Don't they have that the wrong way around? No, I'm just saying. The assisted suicide bill, the assisted dying bill that's going through Parliament at the minute, Billy. Welcome, by the way. The assisted suicide dying thing is basically, as far as I'm concerned, the thin end of a very thick wedge. And in 200 years' time, it might be the stage where if you're 40 years old, you have to die because of overpopulation and under resources or whatever. And we're setting a precedent now by, if it becomes law, of making it okay to kill people. And it'll also, people who have got mental health issues, people who've got disabilities. Logan's Run, I actually quote Logan's Run in the bit I've sent into the paper. Exactly that, Billy. It's like you've got a camera behind me and you're watching what I wrote earlier on. I don't know whether they get published or not, but yeah, Logan's Run, exactly like Logan's Run. As I've said, we're a long way from that, but basically, yeah. To be fair though, with Logan's Run it was 30, but that was in 22-28 when Logan's Run is set, so 22-28. So I'm saying 200 years, it'll be 40. So it might be 30 by the time Logan's Run's timeline would be there. Maybe that's why my studio broke earlier. What what do you do if you think you've been abducted by aliens according to experts? I'm not an expert, but what you do is you go and see psychiatric help because you're obviously having some kind of episode. You need help. CNN reported, with his handmade keychains that go for $5 each, this 8-year-old boy raised $4,015 to erase the lunch debt of students from his school and 6 others. And then someone's rewritten it, which kind of proves the point. 8-year-old does months of manual labour so his friends who are children can afford to eat without going into debt. And that's exactly what the media is like. You have like a good news story that's twisted to make it look like it's slave labour. You're ancient. God, where am I? Jeez, just had a big birthday, which we're not going into. Although you can visit my birthday party, it was beautiful. My solo birthday party, and I got really upset because I was on my own. I wasn't. I love it. I love having a news story. Oh wow! I've not changed my camera on this one. Just bear with me a minute. Is that it? Is that the camera? Yeah, you don't want to see me up that close. So I've had to faff around with a lot of stuff today. That's why I'm running incredibly late. There we go. So yeah, there you go. And oh, I've lost top in my head. Oh no, that would be instant go to the carousel. There you go. I've been worried about you, Alan. I noticed that the house hasn't been lit up either. I'm kind of hoping you've been on holiday or something like that. But anyway, hope you're good. So, breaking news. Well, the ruble has collapsed. The ruble being the... I nearly said the money in... Sorry. I'm going to say the ruble has collapsed into rubble, but that's not funny. It's just funny in my head. Ruble collapses. Will it have impact on Russia's war in Ukraine? Snooker legend Terry Griffiths has died, aged 77, after dementia battle. It wasn't the glasses one, no. A new map shows the London boroughs with the biggest increase in people coming from abroad. It's just London, isn't it? The RBS bonds, Royal Bank of... RBS, who's RBS? So the interest rate should go up again. BBC licence will be paid by fewer and fewer people. And Labour's going to relaunch itself tomorrow, and it won't solve its big problem. That's because according to The Guardian, doesn't speak human. Marie Le Pen threatens to bring down the French government over pension tax, so they're not just doing it over here, they're doing it in France as well. Does cutting down on baths and showers really save money? Well, I would imagine it would do. But you shouldn't shower a bath too much anyway, because it can make you ill, reduces your immune system, etc. Hawking Building Review, the Science Museum's giant new shed of the weird and wonderful. Greg Wallace faces mounting backlash after blaming scandal on middle class women of a certain age. Very ill thought out. Costs of assisted dying could be amongst questions at the next stage, says ministers. No, it's not the cost, it's the morals of it. British holidaymaker, aged 20, tragically dies in a lift shaft in Turkey. Liverpool beat Man City 2-0. 3 killed as tourist coach runs into cliff face near the Pyrenees ski resort. Russian jets strike Syria after rebels seize city in a shock offensive. So Russia getting caught up in another war. Sir Elton John tells the West End crowd, "I've lost my eyesight and cannot see the stage." Man arrested on suspicion of rape at popular Soho celebrity hotspot, the Groucho Club. Lewis Hamilton gets Qatar GP penalty as Max Verstappen lashes out at the FIA. To be fair, I did watch the Grand Prix highlights, and I love Grand Prix. It's the only sport I follow. I really love it. I've been watching it since I was about 4 or 5, and this season's been one of the best seasons ever. But at this race, some of the punishments they were giving out, Lewis Hamilton got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which no one's ever got before, a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lando Norris got a 10-second stop and go for not slowing down under yellow flag area. No one's ever got that penalty before either. Max Verstappen got a one-place grid drop after getting in the way of George Russell, neither of which were in qualifying, but neither of which were actually in qualifying laps. It's just going to pot at the minute. Anyway, I'm glad Verstappen's won his 4th championship. Keir Starmer accused of making Britain un-English, and this is by Errol Musk, who says that Keir Starmer is nothing but a bad example of politicians. Not wrong. Reeves faces called to say if she told Labour MP about farm tax raid. Child poverty has got a lot worse, outgoing charity boss says. Lambast Tory failures and social media giants. Yeah, I mean, Tories have not done great, have they? Players in tears and game called off after 22-year-old footballer collapses on the pitch. Farmer vote to put Starmer under pressure from rural Labour MPs. Manchester's hidden back streets are a window into the city's gritty past. Well, not really. They're not even back streets. You can just find them dead easy. They're just like behind the main buildings. MPs are demanding Parliament's working hours be cut to 10 AM till 4 PM. As long as they get a deduction in their wage and expenses that qualifies, why not? Sickness benefits worth more than minimum wage job. Yep, I know that. Even though I'm not on minimum wage, I'm on less minimum wage because I work for myself. 9 items you have around your home that are worth more than you think. Business confidence crashes to lowest levels since pandemic after Rachel Reeves' tax raid. Meanwhile, a clock tower stops chiming every 15 minutes after a single noise complaint ends a 137-year-old tradition. Irish Greens virtually wiped out in general election rout. Dozens forced to evacuate after a 50-foot sinkhole engulfs a housing estate. Well, it engulfs a bit of a road and someone's drive. It's not a housing estate, really. The UK city, where bankrupt Labour Council are set to enforce new 20-mile-an-hour zones. Yep, that's where we're going, folks. Well, what comments have we had? Okay, well, I hope everything sorted itself out, Alan. Labour at Lee Lodge, Labour. Hi, Elizabeth, hope you're good. Do you think Hamilton will get back to winning with Ferrari? I think he's got to do it quick if he is, because his head's not in the right place at the minute. I'm not a Hamilton fan. I don't claim to be a Hamilton fan. In fact, you know I'm not a Hamilton fan if you're a regular viewer of this, particularly if you watch me play various F1 games. Yeah, it's just shocking. If he's got the right car, I think he has, but he's got to have the motivation. I mean, he was all on about just completely parking the car up, and then they said no, negative, we're not doing that. So he stayed out, and then they said, oh, box the car, and then he stayed out anyway. Elizabeth says Starsy Starmer, yeah. So car starter closed that Vauxhall factory with help from Rachel Thieves. Lion Rachel with a CV should be sacked. Yeah, politics at the moment is a very strange place, and I don't quite know where we're going with it, because as I said last week, I don't agree with this, oh, we'll have a petition to get rid of the government. Because if you did that, then there'd be someone who objected to every government that ever comes up, and you'd just be perpetually having elections, and that doesn't help anyone at all, ever. So I think the whole thing is a bit of anathema for that. But if Rachel Reeves lied on her CV, then she can't be trusted, as did allegedly this Hague MP who's resigned over the last day or so over a conviction stroke discharge for lying about the theft of a phone that wasn't stolen, because she mistakenly, honest mistake, had it in a drawer. Turns out there was another problem with another phone earlier on as well. So, wow, it is difficult. I mean, obviously we had Boris and all the BS that went on with Boris. But at the end of the day, he did get stuff done as well. But I think the Tories had to go. But what we've got now is worse than the Tories. Which, again, if you watch the broadcast I did before the general election, a general election watch, I stopped doing them because I was just that disheartened with all of them. Yeah, everyone's self-serving to a degree, but my argument is, if you're in politics, and I've stood 3 times to become a councillor, I'm not in it for me. I'm not in it to earn brownie points. I'm not in it to have a statue of me put up after I die in the middle of the town centre. I'm in it to help people with what we can do. And the problem is that the councils and governments at the minute are run by people who are not necessarily there for the people. Irony and all that. Boris definitely had potential. I mean, he basically got given a very shitty stick. He come in, Brexit was all messed up everywhere. Then we had COVID, which, to be fair, no one could foresee, or not. And then we had the war in Ukraine. So he had many things thrown at him. If it had been a normal prime ministerial thing, then I think he would have done all right. Conservative Party broke, and look at them now, weak. Yeah, exactly. But they did that to themselves. I mean, the reason that Labour won the election is because the Tories threw it away. And how did they throw it away? By arguing amongst themselves, changing the leaders every 5 minutes. I mean, I even asked in the paper, I don't know, it was last week or the week before, what has been the highest number? Is it the number of managers for Manchester United, or the number of prime ministers we've had in the last 5 years? I mean, the whole thing is just beyond stupid. Yeah, they all imploded, and I think Labour got back to go the same way, which is terrifying. Do we need Farage in for one term, or someone equivalent? I think we probably do, but I don't think they'd solve the problems, but it'd probably make things worse, but it would send a rocket up the arses of the Tories and Labour, thinking, what are we doing wrong? Why have they voted these people in? And we might actually get some decent politics. Maybe we have to take a hit in order to get things better in the future. They're all as bad as each other. That's the problem. They're all as bad as each other. And sadly, that's where we're at. Anyway, a lot later than usual. Like I said, we've had a lot of issues with my studio setup. I don't even notice the lighting's different. Everything's different. The layout's different. I had to look round things, and I've got nothing here now. All that's gone because I had a bit of a collapse. Not me personally, the stuff. I've now got stuff in that corner over there, which is new. And it's just been one of them nights. One of those nights. So yeah, obviously considerably lower views than normal. Also a lot shorter than normal as well, which is fine. But a decent chat, to be fair. Thank you for joining in the chat. So Toffs TV, John Higginbotham, Alan Barton, Billy Shears, Elizabeth Hardman. Thank you for joining in on the chat. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll be seeing you Until next time, bye.